The last piece of the rhetorical context for the Sifferlin article that we'll be thinking about is the purpose. And the questions that we can think about to help us find the purpose can be, what did the author hope to accomplish by having his audience understand the main ideas of the article when he wrote the article? What did he want the audience to do? So you can think about, what did Alexandra Sifferlin want her audience to do as a result of having read the article? And I have gone ahead and put the different pieces of information that we're going to identify so that we can come up with a really robust purpose that really captures what Alexandra Sifferlin was trying to accomplish. So our author is Alexandra Sifferlin. Who is concerned about health topics and trends. So the audience is a more general portion of the population. Actually, I'm going to put that a little differently, because we have it, remember, it's Time magazine. It's meant for a mass general audience. But we are getting a little more specific because we're thinking about people concerned with health trends, and let me see, especially those that might affect children. So, and again, we're not thinking about, I'm not going to say that here, but one thing to think about is that we're not looking at a specific subset like, rich or poor, or liberal conservative, or academic, non-academic, working class, because Time magazine is meant for a more general audience. So I'm not going to put that here, but that is something to think about, that because there will be those publications that are going to have a more specific audience. For example, you might have the New Yorker that's meant for more kind of liberal and academic, more that kind of group of people, as opposed to like working class or something like that. So next we're thinking about the larger conversation. So what's happening at the time that Alexandra Sifferlin wrote this article for her audience? And the thing I think that, what we identified sort of up here that was really happening was that, Michelle Obama used her pop culture. Let me see. Actually, I'm going to phrase this a little bit differently. So Michelle Obama fought the major problem of childhood obesity by using her, I'm going to put star power / pop culture icon status, as well as the power of problematic celebrities like Shaq and Beyonce. And I'm calling them problematic celebrities, which might be a little bit strong, but they're problematic in this context because they have ties and they have certain associations. They're selling sugary drinks that make it so that their ideas, their practices, their ideas, their business dealings conflict with the message of let's move. So we've got this larger conversation. Michelle Obama was fighting, I'm going to just say was fighting the major problem of childhood obesity by using her star power / pop culture icon status, as well as the star power of problematic celebrities like Shaq and Beyonce. So we've got that information down. And then another thing, I forgot to put that down here, is main idea. So let's think about, we haven't identified the main idea here, but I'm going to say that we can summarize it as, give me just a moment to think about that. So the Let's Move campaign. So the Let's Move campaign is problematic because it uses celebrities who endorse products that endorse products which are unhealthy, thereby undoing the good of the camp. I'm going to change that a little bit. Thereby causing confusion for the children who could benefit from the message of the good message of the Let's Move campaign. So we've got this. I'm going to look at this main idea, see what I think about it. The Let's Move campaign is problematic because it uses celebrities who endorse products that are unhealthy, thereby causing confusion for children who could benefit from the good message of the Let's Move campaign. So I'm going to say that's pretty good. So let's think about what actions does the author want the audience to take? So let's think about audience members become aware of the of how the campaign is bad. Maybe they speak out against it and demand better practices from Michelle Obama and the Let's Move campaign. So again, these are things that we're making some guesses. We might be able to point directly at, we still want to be able to point no matter what directly at the text and be able to say, this is what this text right here supports the conclusion that I am making. So we might not find something in the text that specifically says that audience members need to be protesting the Let's Move campaign, but we are going to find some passages that support these opinions, these conclusions. So let's put these things together. I'm not going to use the sentence frame that was given specifically on the slides because that would make way too big of a sentence. But we've got all of this information. Let's think about how it all kind of comes together. So what is the author's purpose? So we don't have to repeat everything, but we should, what we should happen is when we look at our purpose, we can connect it to what we've defined about the author, what we've defined about the audience, what we've defined about the larger conversation, what we've defined about the main idea, and what we've defined about the actions that the author wants the audience to take. So so let's see, Alexandra Sifferlin's purpose. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say the purpose of the article is to make people aware of, is to make the audience aware of the problematic practices of of Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. While it has a good mission, it employs practices that can confuse its intended audience, children, and Sifferlin wants people to speak out against it and recognize. So Sifferlin wants to speak out against it and hold Michelle Obama accountable. So this might not be perfect, and there's probably ways we can improve it, but I think this is a pretty good way to state the purpose, which brings in the information about the author, it brings in the audience, it brings in the larger conversation, the main idea, and the actions that the author wants the audience to take. So the purpose of the article is to make the audience aware of the problematic practice of Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign. While it has a good mission, it employs practices that confuse its intended audience, children, and Sifferlin wants people to speak out against it and hold Michelle Obama accountable. So I hope that what you saw from this process is that my own thinking is kind of messy. My own thinking takes a little bit of time to find the right answer. And it might even, be something that I look back at later and I revise further. So I'm going to say that there were ways that I went through this quickly, and having to talk about my thought process out loud and know that I'm being video recorded means that I'm probably not doing my best thinking, but it is an insight into this process so that hopefully you can see how it works, and you can also think about how you can replicate this process for yourself. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you got to learn a lot from the article, and this is a process that you'll feel comfortable repeating the next time you have to read an article.